Despite strong and swift criticism from his own party, the Senate candidate who made explosive comments about rape and abortion is digging in and staying in the race. Republican Missouri Congressman Todd Akin did not cave in to pressure of calls urging him to drop out by yesterday's deadline. This is what Akin said on Sunday that started the controversy.
It seems to me, first of all, from what I understand from doctors, that's really rare. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down. But let's assume that maybe that didn't work or something. You know, I think there should be some punishment, but the punishment ought to be in the rapist and not attacking the child.
Congressman Akin has apologized several times for those comments, but he did say that the response from his fellow Republicans is an overreaction. Akin insists that he can still win the Missouri Senate race against Democratic Senator Claire McCaskill. Yesterday, he announced his final decision to keep campaigning on the Mike Huckabee radio show.
That I misspoke one word in one sentence in one day, and all of a sudden, overnight, everybody decides, well, Akin can't possibly win. Well, I don't agree with that.
This morning, we're taking a closer look at the Akin case and its impact on the presidential campaign. Joining us from Washington is Caroline Horn, CBS News Senior Producer for Politics. Caroline, good morning to you.
Good morning.
The Republican Party, even super PACs like Karl Rove's, have pulled funding for Akin's campaign, yet he says he is still going to stay in this thing. Realistically, can he do it?
Well, he certainly can try. What happened yesterday was there was a 6 p.m. Eastern deadline for him to be able to withdraw his candidacy very easily. Just say, I'm withdrawing, and his name would be taken off the ballot. Now he has a couple more weeks to see what the landscape in Missouri looks like for him. There's one more deadline on September 25th, and if he gets a court order before that deadline asking him, saying that he will withdraw his candidacy, he can still get his name off the ballot. So two sources tell CBS News yesterday that he's going to take the next couple of weeks and look at poll numbers and look at fundraising and think about where things stand.
Let's talk about abortion in general. The Republican Party, the platform calling on a constitutional ban on all abortion, no exceptions. Mitt Romney does say that an exception can apply, and that's in the case of rape. Is this going to cause a rift in the Republican Party?
Well, what you're referring to is yesterday, down in Tampa, the Republican Party Platform Committee meeting was held, and there was a vote to put language in the Republican platform that does not include exceptions for rape and incest. That is counter to what a Romney-Ryan administration would do. The Romney campaign has said that he supports an exception for rape and incest. I think more than a rift within the party, what you have to wonder is this what the Romney campaign wants to be talking about at all right now? They are heading into their convention week. It is very carefully planned out to talk about the economy and jobs and Mitt Romney's plan to get that back on track. And here we're now embroiled in 2 full days of talking about social issues.
How much more of this are we really going to see, Caroline? Could abortion maybe steal the headlines as we head up towards this election, more so maybe than the economy and jobs, when we're talking about what Mitt Romney is going to be talking about?
I think that's what partly Republicans are so worried about with this Akin controversy. They want him to step aside so that the party can move on from these comments, incendiary comments that he made over the weekend. They also want to make sure they have a candidate in Missouri who can take on Claire McCaskill in that Senate race. But they want to get back to their message. They want to get back to talking about what they see as Obama's failed economic record. And as long as they're talking about abortion, and as long as that's what's leading the headlines, it's difficult for them to do so.
Meanwhile, President Obama back out on the campaign trail talking to young voters out in Ohio. That was a big part of his win back in 2008. Can he count them in his win column, or in possibly a win column this time around?
It certainly was a key coalition for him in 2008, and not just because they went out and voted for him in strong numbers, but also because they made up his grassroots army. They were the door knockers. They were the ones getting their friends to go to the polls. So what you saw him doing today in Ohio, what you saw him doing yesterday in Ohio and also in Reno, Nevada, was trying to talk to them about what his administration has done for them and will do for them in a second term, talking about education policy, talking about boosting community college programs throughout the country, and also imploring them to get out in the field again, this time for him, and make sure that voters go to the polls to support a second term.
Meanwhile, Mitt Romney also out on the campaign trail trying to distance himself from those Akin comments, but Mitt Romney also not doing too bad in the fundraising category. He has outraised the president for some months now. Does more money necessarily mean a Romney win?
It doesn't necessarily mean a Romney win, but it is a stark contrast to what people were saying even just a couple of months ago when we were talking about, would the conservative base rally around Mitt Romney? Would anybody be able to compete with the juggernaut that was the Obama campaign? The Romney campaign and supporting groups have now outraised the Obama campaign for the last 3 months. They have a cash-on-hand advantage heading into the fall, and all of that spells a very equal playing field as we head into the last couple months of this campaign.
And then we've got the conventions coming up. Caroline Horn, CBS News Senior Producer for Politics, joining us from Washington this morning. Caroline, thank you so much.
Thank you.